Your body is dying, you just haven't felt it yet. That might sound dramatic, but here's the truth nobody wants to talk about. Right now, at this very moment, your cells are degenerating, your arteries are narrowing, and your organs are slowly losing their ability to function. You're not sick, you don't feel anything wrong, but silent killers are operating inside your body 24/7, and by the time you notice them, it might be too late. Most people don't realize they have a serious health problem until it's catastrophic. You'll go to the doctor one day complaining about chest pain, and they'll tell you that you're months away from a heart attack. A woman will get a mammogram and discover cancer that's been growing for 3 years without any symptoms. Someone will have a stroke and discover they had a condition they never even knew existed. This is the dark reality of human biology. Our bodies can be falling apart while we feel perfectly fine. The scariest part? The diseases killing people in developed nations right now are almost entirely preventable. Heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, fatty liver disease, cognitive decline. These aren't genetic death sentences, they're consequences. They're the result of thousands of small decisions made every single day. The processed food you ate last night, the sleep you didn't get, the stress you're ignoring, the movement you're not doing. Each one of these choices is either building health or stealing it from your future self. And here's what really keeps me up at night. Most people know what they should do, but they don't do it. They know they should exercise. They know they shouldn't eat ultra-processed food. They know they should sleep 8 hours and manage their stress. But knowing and doing are completely different things. The gap between intention and action is where most people's health dies. This script isn't about fear-mongering. It's about waking you up. It's about showing you what's actually happening inside your body right now, why it's happening, and most importantly, what you can do about it. Because here's the good news hidden behind all this darkness. You have more control over your health than you think. Your genetics load the gun, but your lifestyle pulls the trigger. And you're holding that trigger right now. Dr. Stuart R. Miller, your body is a battlefield, and most people don't even know the war is happening. Every single day, your cells are facing an invisible army of damage, inflammation, oxidative stress, and metabolic dysfunction. The scariest part isn't that these threats exist, it's that you can't feel them happening. In my practice, I've seen this pattern repeat endlessly. People walk around thinking they're fine up until the moment I deliver news that changes their life. The human body is remarkably good at masking serious problems until they become critical, and by then the damage is often irreversible or requires aggressive intervention that destroys your quality of life. Let's start with the most fundamental problem. The standard American lifestyle is literally designed to destroy your health, and most people don't realize it's happening because the destruction is gradual. You don't wake up one day overweight, diabetic, and exhausted. It happens in increments so small that you don't notice them. You gain 2 pounds a month, that's 24 pounds a year. In a decade, that's 240 pounds, a completely different person. But because it happened gradually, you probably didn't even notice the shift until you looked at old photos and barely recognized yourself. This is how most health destruction works. Your body requires certain inputs to function optimally: real food, movement, sleep, stress management, and social connection. The modern world actively conspires against all of these. Food companies spend billions engineering products designed to override your natural satiety signals so you eat more than you need. Your job probably requires you to sit in a chair staring at a screen for 8+ hours, which is fundamentally unnatural for human physiology. Sleep is increasingly treated as optional, a luxury for people who don't have enough ambition. Stress is everywhere and normalized, and loneliness is reaching epidemic proportions. This is the perfect storm for disease, and it's happening to millions of people right now. The mechanisms of disease are well understood by science, yet somehow this knowledge hasn't translated into the actual behavior change people need. We know that excess sugar consumption causes insulin resistance, which leads to metabolic dysfunction, weight gain, and eventually type 2 diabetes. We know that processed seed oils create systemic inflammation that damages your arteries and your brain. We know that lack of sleep impairs your immune system, increases cortisol, promotes fat storage, and accelerates cognitive decline. We know that lack of movement causes your muscles to atrophy, your bones to weaken, your cardiovascular system to deteriorate, and your mental health to decline. We know that chronic stress literally ages your cells and makes you vulnerable to every disease known to man. But knowing this and living accordingly are different universes. Most people would rather believe that health is primarily determined by genetics, that they are just built this way, that weight loss is impossible, that aging is inevitable. These beliefs are comforting because they eliminate personal responsibility. If it's all genetic and inevitable, then why bother trying? This is the mindset that keeps people trapped in destructive patterns. The reality is far more empowering. Your lifestyle choices determine roughly 80 to 90% of your health outcomes. Yes, genetics matter, but your genes are not your destiny. They're more like instructions that can be turned on or off based on your environment and behavior. This is called epigenetics, and it's one of the most important discoveries in modern biology. You're not stuck with your genetic hand. You're actively writing your genetic destiny with every choice you make. Let's talk about what's actually happening in people's bodies right now. The majority of developed world citizens are metabolically unhealthy. They have elevated blood sugar levels, even if they haven't been diagnosed with diabetes. Their insulin is running high, constantly working overtime to manage the flood of refined carbohydrates and sugar they consume. Their arteries are slowly accumulating plaque. Their livers are fatty and inflamed from excessive fructose consumption. Their brains are losing neuroplasticity from lack of cognitive challenge and movement. Their hormones are out of balance from sleep deprivation and stress. Their immune systems are overactive and attacking their own tissues, or underactive and failing to fight infections. Their muscles are weak from lack of use. Their bones are becoming brittle from lack of loading. Their cardiovascular systems are deconditioned. Their mental health is fragile because they're not sleeping, moving, or socializing enough. And the truly dark part, most of these people don't have obvious symptoms yet. They're not diagnosed with anything. They feel okay, maybe just a little tired, a little sluggish, a little foggy. They attribute it to getting older, to being busy, to just being human. They don't realize these feelings are their body screaming for help, warning signs of dysfunction that will become serious diseases if ignored. This is where the conventional medical system fails people most catastrophically, and I say this as someone working within that system. It's a reactive system designed to treat disease, not prevent it. You have to be sick to get help. You have to have a diagnosis to get treatment. But by the time you're diagnosed with heart disease, type 2 diabetes, or cognitive decline, the damage is already severe. I've watched decades of decline happen in my patients before they finally get a diagnosis. The preventive interventions that could have stopped it are no longer sufficient. Now, medication is needed, which comes with side effects, often multiple medications. Life becomes about managing disease instead of building vitality. The markers that actually predict disease are almost universally ignored until they're critical. Your fasting blood sugar doesn't matter until you're diagnosed as diabetic. Your cholesterol isn't concerning until it meets arbitrary thresholds. Your blood pressure is fine until it suddenly isn't. Your inflammation markers, your hormone levels, your nutrient status, these are rarely comprehensively checked. Instead, people get a basic cholesterol panel once a year, and if the numbers aren't in the danger zone, they're told everything is fine. But danger zones are set based on population averages, not on what's actually optimal for human health. Consider insulin as an example, something I check carefully in my practice. Most doctors only check fasting insulin if someone is already showing signs of metabolic problems. but insulin resistance is often developing for years before it becomes a medical problem. A person can have insulin levels that are 2 or 3 times higher than optimal and still have normal fasting blood sugar because their pancreas is working overtime to maintain normal glucose levels. But this is unsustainable. Eventually the system fails, blood sugar rises, and they get a diabetes diagnosis. At that point, the damage has been accumulating for years. The optimal intervention would have been years earlier, but nobody caught it because nobody was looking for it. This is the fundamental problem with waiting to feel sick before addressing health. It's too late. The disease process is already advanced. The body's compensatory mechanisms have already been exhausted. The tissue damage has already occurred. So what does actual health optimization look like? It starts with understanding that your body is fundamentally designed for certain conditions, and when those conditions are met, the body naturally gravitates toward health. This is the default state of the human organism when the inputs are correct. First, nutrition. Your body evolved to eat real food. Animals, plants, roots, nuts, seeds, fruit, not processed food designed in laboratories to maximize consumption, to create addiction-like responses, and to provide calories without nutrition. The shift to processed food is the single biggest driver of chronic disease in the modern world. Not just obesity, though that's certainly part of it. The damage goes much deeper. Processed foods create inflammation. They damage your gut lining. They feed pathogenic bacteria. They spike your blood sugar and insulin. They're nutrient poor but calorie rich, so people overeat them while remaining malnourished. They contain compounds that your body has never encountered before and doesn't know how to process, so they accumulate as toxins. Real nutrition means prioritizing nutrient density. Organs like liver and kidney contain more nutrients per gram than almost any other food. Fatty fish provide omega-3s that your brain desperately needs. Eggs are nearly perfect nutritionally. Vegetables provide micronutrients and fiber. Fruits provide antioxidants and glucose that doesn't spike your blood sugar the way refined carbs do. Nuts and seeds provide healthy fats and minerals. Fermented foods support gut health. This isn't about restriction or deprivation, it's about abundance of real food that nourishes your body at the cellular level. When you eat like this, you naturally feel full with fewer calories. Your energy stabilizes, your cravings disappear, your body composition improves, your mental health improves, your inflammation drops, your blood work normalizes, everything gets better. Second, movement. The human body is designed to move. Our ancestors moved constantly throughout the day, walking, running, lifting, carrying, climbing. And they did it in varied ways, using different muscle groups, different movement patterns, different intensities. Modern humans sit for 8 hours at work, sit for 1 hour commuting, sit for 3 hours at night, and call that a normal day. Meanwhile, they feel viscerally awful. Then they buy an expensive gym membership, go 3 times, and feel like they've done something. Real movement means multiple things. First, step count. You should be walking at least 7,000, 10,000 steps a day, which used to happen naturally in daily life, but now has to be intentional. Walking is the movement your body expects. It's healing, it's relatively easy, and it's fundamentally necessary. Second, strength. You need to load your skeleton and your muscles. This isn't about becoming a bodybuilder. It's about maintaining muscle mass, bone density, and metabolic function. This requires resistance training, something your body does against gravity or against external resistance. 3 to 4 times a week, spending 30-45 minutes lifting things or doing body weight exercises is enough to maintain health and vitality. Third, intensity. Your cardiovascular system needs to be challenged. This can be sprinting, it can be challenging conditioning workouts, it can be recreational sports, but some activities need to be hard enough to elevate your heart rate significantly. Finally, movement quality. Most people move poorly because nobody ever taught them proper form or movement patterns. This causes injury, compensation patterns, and accelerated wear and tear. Learning to move well is crucial. Third, sleep. Sleep is where the magic happens. It's not downtime. It's when your brain is cleaned, your memories are consolidated, your muscles are repaired, your hormones are balanced, your immune system is strengthened, and your emotions are processed. Most people are chronically sleep deprived and have normalized this state. They think feeling tired is just normal. It's not. When you're sleeping enough, you wake up feeling ready to engage with life. Your mood is stable. Your cognitive function is sharp. Your hunger hormones are regulated. Your inflammation is controlled. Getting good sleep means respecting your circadian rhythm. This means sleeping when it's dark and being awake when it's light. It means sleeping 7 to 9 hours for most people. It means avoiding screens before bed. It means keeping your bedroom cool and dark. It means having a consistent sleep schedule. It means managing stress so you're not lying awake ruminating. It sounds simple, but it's revolutionary for people who've been chronically sleep deprived. Fourth, stress management. Chronic stress is slowly destroying your health. It elevates cortisol, which promotes fat storage around your organs, impairs your immune system, damages your cognitive function, and accelerates aging. Stress is not optional to eliminate, it's part of life. But the ability to recover from stress is what matters. This means having practices that activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your nervous system responsible for rest and recovery. This can be meditation, breath work, yoga, time in nature, time with people you love, hobbies that absorb your attention, creative expression. Most people never deliberately activate their recovery system, so they're in a state of chronic activation, slowly breaking down. Fifth, community and relationships. Humans are social creatures. Loneliness is as harmful to your health as smoking. Having people you care about and who care about you is fundamental to health and longevity. This can't be replaced by online interaction. It requires physical presence, real conversation, shared experience. Most people are more connected than ever digitally and more alone than ever socially. This gap is destroying mental health and making people vulnerable to disease. Sixth, cognitive engagement. Your brain is like a muscle. Use it or lose it. People who are cognitively engaged, learning, solving problems, being creative, have dramatically lower rates of cognitive decline and dementia. Without mental challenge, your brain atrophies. This is why retirement often coincides with cognitive decline. People go from being mentally engaged to being mentally unchallenged, and their brains start to wither. The solution is continued learning and mental challenge throughout your life. When all of these elements are in place, the human body doesn't get sick. It doesn't get fat. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't get depressed. It's the default state when conditions are met. But when these elements are absent, disease is inevitable. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when and which disease will manifest first. The reason most people don't do this is because it requires effort, discipline, and inconvenience. It's much easier to eat whatever you want, stay sedentary, sleep poorly, stay stressed, stay isolated, and not challenge yourself mentally. But that ease comes at the price of your health, your energy, your mental clarity, and your lifespan. You're essentially trading present comfort for future suffering. The choice is yours. Your body is dying or your body is thriving. There's no middle ground. There's no coasting. Every single day is either building health or stealing it. What you do matters. What you eat matters. How much you sleep matters. Whether you move matters. Whether you manage your stress matters. These aren't nice to have optimizations. They're the fundamental requirements for health and vitality. The question is, are you going to meet them?